Hi there, I'm Michael Hill with Canine Chronicle TV, and for our Influencers series today, I'm going to be talking with Bobby Schoenfeld about the people who made him who he is in the sport of dogs today. How are you, Bobby?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. So why don't we get started at the beginning? How did you first get into dogs?
My dad got involved with a German Shepherd when I was 6 years old. Basically, was going to do obedience, but then got introduced into AKC shows and started going to some of those, and then got involved with German Shepherd specialty shows, and that was my introduction into show dogs.
Quite the introduction. That's quite the specialty shows are nothing like that.
That's what we did for years, and I showed my first dog in 1966. So.
Wow. Who were some of the dog people who were helping you guys get into the sport?
There was some local people that helped us get involved to start with. A guy named Claude Harris. He was real big in obedience and German Shepherds, and he did some of the all breed stuff as well. But that was kind of our get started, getting us involved in dogs. And then Mom got involved with Pembroke Welsh Corgis after that. And then she was involved some with like Derek Rain and things of that nature.
Okay. And then, so you're tagging along, you're just kind of with the family. At what point did you know that this was something that was going to be for you a lifelong endeavor?
I think when I was probably 15, I decided that this was something I was going to pursue.
Did you work for a handler or any other professionals?
I worked for my dad, and I also worked with Gloria Kerr.
Okay. What were some of the key memories that you remember from those experiences, like lessons that they taught you?
How to groom dogs, how to care for the dogs. That was things that I learned from my mother. Also showed dogs. My mother and father split up when I was younger, but my mother kept showing dogs and then started showing dogs for money as well. And then she ran around with a lady named Pat Evans, and Pat was a big influence on me, not just with the dogs, but in how to become successful in life in general. You know?
How did she teach you that?
I just would watch her, and I'd see that, you know, how she was into making sure all the T's were crossed and all the I's were dotted, and being, you know, totally focused on what you're doing and why you're doing certain things. And she had a lot of knowledge right. And she had a lot of knowledge in dog health and stuff like that, which she didn't realize at the time, but I mean, I'm absorbing every word she's saying, you know?
Yeah. Just by being around her, you're kind of picking up on all that.
Right.
And I know Rottweilers. Say what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I know Rottweilers were a big.
Yeah. This delay kills it, you know? And of course, going to the specialty shows and stuff, you know, we're always running into like Jimmy Moses and some of the bigger known shepherd handlers back in the days and stuff. And of course, I mean, who's not going to go to a shepherd specialty and be in awe over watching Jimmy win everything, you know? So he was a big influence too, you know. Everybody wanted to kind of copy what he was doing. So.
It was working.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know Rottweilers have been a big part of your life. How did you first get introduced to that breed?
I was showing dogs, and I was like 19 at the time, and I had a lady from Texas come up to me at a ring and says she had been showing her own dog and was losing with a dog, and it was really a pretty dog, and I had made a comment to her, that's really a nice dog. So she finally broke down and came up to me one day and said, can you show Amadeus tomorrow? And I said, sure. So I showed him, won the breed with him, went on and won the group with him. And then after that, it was just like Rottweilers took off, you know.
No turning back.
No turning back. Still showing them today.
Were there any people in that breed specifically that helped kind of shape your formation in that breed?
There was Margie Grady, Valerie Hellman were two people that I showed a lot of Rotties for locally and stuff. And then Jeff, and then Lou Olson as well. They're big in the parent club. And I showed a dog for Jeff for several years, put 7 or 8 best in shows on him and stuff like that. So there's been, you know, I've been involved with the Rottie pretty heavy since the late 70s. So,
Wow, quite a lifespan in that breed.
yeah. The first dog I showed and put points on was a Pembroke Walsh Corgi. And that was under the judge, Derek Rain. And I'll never forget that day, So.
Oh, I mean, well, that's a great lead in, because I was going to say, looking back on your entire span in this sport, what are some of the most memorable moments for you? So that's probably definitely one. Are there any other kind of highlights that stick out?
Yeah, there are. I showed a Beasley bitch that set numerous records for the breed. She was the top winning Beasley of all times at that time. She literally won the Nationals 3 times. And 3 judges for that was Judy Donier, Dorothy McDonald, and then Annie Rogers Clark. So that was pretty memorable. Yeah.
That's hard to top that.
Yeah, real hard. 3 of the best.
Amazing. And so looking back on this, all these different kind of elements of your life in dogs, is there anything that you keep in mind when you're working or, talking with somebody who's younger or getting into the sport or kind of trying to figure out their path in dogs?
Yeah, what I try to say to some of these younger people that are trying to get involved and be successful is stop worrying about the winning. It's not always about winning. What you need to be focused on is animal care, training, getting these dogs, being able to walk out and see a dog in the morning and go, something's not right, without even putting your hands on them. You can tell something's not right. And I said, that's that. And I think that's a lot that's lacking right now, because everybody's so worried about trying to be the next hero and star, Let your work and your abilities and your dogs speak for themselves.
Right. That animal husbandry is the cornerstone.
And that was pounded into my head as a kid. Don't worry about winning. Make sure these dogs are safe and healthy, and
that's all that matters.
It's all that matters. The winning will come.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something too. That's something too that plays into the longevity in the sport, right? Where it's like, if you're just focusing on the winning, it's going to be harder to sustain year after year, because it's inevitable that you're going to lose, right? So it kind of helps you, I think, stay, even keeled through the ups and the downs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remembering that they're still dogs and they're not tennis rackets.
They're still dogs, and they still want our attention and our love. They don't want to just go run in a circle and get thrown in a box and not be seen until the next day.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, Bobby. It was great to hear about your, wide breadth of involvement in the sport and the people who kind of made that possible for you to get to that point in your career.
Yeah, thank you.
It's our pleasure. Have a great day.
You too now.
All right, bye.